And now we're live. Hello,
Oh,
Paul.
hi. Hi there. How's it going?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Yeah.
So I just noticed, I don't know if you've changed something or OBS Ninja has changed something, but there's a little red on air icon now showing that we're streaming.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Like where I'm looking at the like our view.
Uh-huh.
Anyway,
Oh, cool. That
I don't
works.
know how it figured that out, but it did.
Hey, more power to it. Let's
Right?
see here. I don't actually have the Twitch up right now. Here we go. Hey, everyone. Cool. Okay, so hey, before we go, start. Who are you?
Hi, my name is Paul Tchaikovsky and I am a OpenShift black belt at Red Hat.
Hmm.
And actually a managed OpenShift black belt. I can't even say my own title. And that just means I help customers and others out with our managed OpenShift products.
Nice. And hello, everyone. My name is JJ Asgar, and I'm a developer advocate for the IBM Cloud. And Paul and I come together on these Thursdays to do something cloud native-y or cloud native-ish. And today is no different. So what's on our docket for today, Paul?
That is a very good question. I believe we're going to be looking at the Ansible operator and actually like writing our own. Is that our plan?
Yeah. So let's before we go any farther, let's just kind of discuss on what an operator is and where you're looking for it, and then well, there's three different styles of operators, and we've chosen one that Paul and I should be able to figure out and kind of unwind during the stream. So if you're watching and you've always been curious about operators, this will be a good learning opportunity. So Paul,
Yeah.
what's an operator?
Oh boy, what is an operator?
You
So
dial zero. You dial
an
zero on the
operator is
phone.
a way. Yeah, right. It's a way for you to extend the Kubernetes API to manage resources that are not native to Kubernetes. That could be a resource that you do run inside of Kubernetes, but is a bit more complex than a standard like service deployment config map type scenario. For example, one of the canonical things is the etcd operator, which, if you want to run etcd inside of Kubernetes, you need to think about how you're going to handle replication and do a bunch of work to make the replication happen. You will need to think about backups. You need to think about repairing the replication when there's a failure. The operator does all of that for you. So it manages the deployments, the config maps, the secrets, the jobs to do all of that. And it just presents you with a Kubernetes object of type
Mm-hmm.
etcd.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can effectively say, hey, I need an etcd of size extra large, or whoever the sizing for them is done. And the operator would see that as, oh, you need three large, you need a etcd with three replicas. They need to have a decent amount of memory and CPU limits. And we need to make sure that the replication is set up, functioning, and we have backups.
Nice.
You can also manage things outside of the Kubernetes cluster. So most of the public clouds have, at least in alpha stages, a operator for that cloud. So Google has an operator. AWS has an operator. I think even IBM Cloud has an operator, right?
Yes, it does.
So that means that if you wanted, say, an IBM Cloud database, you could call the operator to get you that rather than having to know like the IBM Cloud commands to do it. And it means you're letting Kubernetes deal with it. So it just becomes another resource in your Kubernetes manifest for a given app.
Which is really it allows you to use, like, you don't have to be as an administrator to think about the stuff anymore. You let Kubernetes make sure it's always in the state you want it to be in because of the reconcile loop. And then also you can actually take those those CRDs that Paul was alluding to, and actually put them inside of Git or whatever, and actually do some Git ops around it too. So if you're more than just yourself, which you probably are, and you have more of a team, then you can actually collaborate and work with it that way instead of like a one-off command that you run on IBM Cloud and completely forget, why is this
Yep.
machine here?
Yep. Now there is a double-edged sword thing that's happening, and that is there's a couple of things. You do have to have a really strong operational knowledge of the thing you're going to be writing an operator for,
Mm-hmm.
because you're kind of expected to be able to handle the entire life cycle of your application or resource in code. And so that can become quite a lot of hardcore coding. The other thing is when you do have a failure mode, it is an epic failure mode.
Mm-hmm.
And you not only have to troubleshoot the application or the resource, you have to troubleshoot the operator, and or you have to troubleshoot Kubernetes. So it doesn't eliminate the need to have expertise in it. It does mean that, when something goes wrong, you really need to have that expertise sitting there. So
So
you can't install the MySQL operator and fire all your DBAs is basically what I'm saying.
exactly.
You need
So
to keep one or two around.
well, ideally. So let me flip over to my screen real quick. And
Mm-hmm.
what Paul was alluding to is the actual operator capability level, also known as the phases or levels of operators that you can have.
Yep. Now, I'll quickly mention that some of this stuff is pretty specific to the Operator SDK, which is just one way of many to create an operator, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the
Yes.
Operator SDK, there is Kube Builder. There is also, like, you can write a fairly simple operator in Python or Java without too much difficulty as well. So I just wanted to mention that is we'll be focusing on the Operator SDK here, but don't feel like that's the only way to do it. There are definitely advantages using the Operator SDK, but it is not essential. And for some lightweight things, it's often easier to reach for Python or something and use that.
Yep.
So just think about your use case and make an appropriate choice there. But don't feel like you need to be a Go Ninja in order to write an operator.
Wait, Paul, are you telling me I need to do my homework?
I mean, I wouldn't tell you to do your homework, JJ, because you just ignore me.
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
Yeah, I see what you did
Hey,
there.
yeah, there you go. But yeah, just to do yes and the whole operator SDK, we are focusing on this one for this because, frankly speaking, I need to know it, and I don't have many opportunities to really just like play around inside of it. So we're gonna use this stream to learn something that I know that I desperately need to understand, which is here in the middle, the Ansible. The Ansible version of the Operator SDK. Now, I just want to take a moment and make sure if you are watching this and paying attention, there are 5 different levels of an operator where you eventually want to get to this autopilot, and that was the joke Paul was making about the DBAs and not needing them anymore. But the beauty of it is Ansible actually crosses all 5 levels, because if you didn't know, Ansible is a configuration management language, or not really language. It's more of a bunch of it's a wrapper on top of
You
a
can call it a
wrapper.
language, it's
It's a
fine.
language. Okay. Or well, no, what's the term? Oh shit, there's an actual term for
There's
it.
no room for pedantry on our stream.
Yeah.
It's a configuration management language. We don't have to worry too much about the
Yeah.
accuracy of the statement. People know what you're saying.
Perfect. So you can do some really interesting things around it, and you can wrap it up inside of an operator so you can kind of take ownership of it. Unlike Helm, as you see here, it only goes to level 2 where it allows you to upgrade it, but it doesn't, do the level 3, 4, or 5, which allows a full life cycle, actual metrics for the deep insights. So I always thought would be a level 3, but that's a different conversation. And then finally to
So,
auto
I mean,
level.
so I feel like that's a little bit squishy.
Yeah.
I bet you could get through 3 and 4 with Helm. It would just require knowing Helm pretty well. and not having any really weird resources.
Yeah, makes sense. Hey,
Hey, Technofire, how's it going? Nice
yeah,
of you to join us.
he's a friend from the past. It's been a long time, buddy. Um, so uh, what was I going to say? Yeah, so we're gonna focus on the Ansible side, because what we're gonna do is I want to spend this time ripping apart the actual Ansible portion of it, so you can kind of understand the walking through what the playbook we end up using to do the work, and how the Operator SDK wraps that playbook around, so you can actually get to that end. We're gonna stay away from the Go stuff, mainly because the Go stuff is really happy pathed right now, from all the examples I've seen. But I haven't seen many Ansible ones. So luckily we have this tutorial that they give us. And this is the thing Paul and I are going to kind of walk through together here. I'm going to throw this in. Wonderful. Zenefa 8484. Yes, we're going to have some fun here. This is what I just put in the chat was the actual tutorial we're going to go through. It's pretty straightforward, which is nice. But we can spend some time actually unwinding what's going on here, and then from there we'll kind of see where we go. So Paul,
Yeah.
Oops, that would not be very helpful if I did that. Can you say hello in the chat, or in the whatchamacallit, yep, perfect. So as you see, we both have access to the same machine, and get pods. As you see, there's nothing on this machine. Oh, there's Nginx. K delete, or K get. Why is Nginx there? K delete. We'll go ahead and get rid of that, because that's not supposed to be there. We'll go ahead and create a new namespace. Actually, you know what? No, we're not. We have a Kubernetes cluster. Right now we're playing with vanilla Kubernetes. There's no reason why this wouldn't work inside of OpenShift also, but just for simplicity's sake at the moment, we're just going to play with Kubernetes. So as you see here, there's some pretty straightforward installation guides. I believe I don't actually have the Operator SDK on here. So yes, we don't. So we actually need to install it first. And if you're running on a Mac, the best part about it is you can just do brew install Operator SDK. Homebrew will install it and make life easier. But as we are on a Linux box here, we actually have to do a little bit more work. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this right here for the Arch. So if I echo dollar, where the hell is dollar? I can't, jeez. Arch here. We got AMD 64. And then I'll go ahead and copy in the OS. Echo $OS. We got Linux, which is exactly what we're hoping for. We're going to go ahead and just take what this says verbatim. As you see, we're going to grab 180 here. And then we're going to go ahead and curl bash that, or curl it down. And then oh yeah, can you put that in a directory?
Where did that put it? Operator SDK. So we can, the install command, right?
I do.
So install will copy it and also chmod it to be executable. Those who don't. So I can do that. And then because this is in my path, I should now be able to run that.
Yay,
yeah.
Perfect.
And that just saves on doing a copy or move and then doing a chmod.
Yeah, that's basically what they ask us to do here.
Right.
Which is a little bit excessive.
It's also telling us to do some checksumming, which I feel like we can skip that.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
I mean, I already just ran it, so I've already done the damage.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and just walk through this and start picking it apart. So mkdir, what is today? Today is 2021 06 03 2126. Okay, so we're gonna do a memcache, memcache d operator, memcache d operator, and then are we gonna be working for example.com, Paul?
No, we're working for Asgard Labs.
Asgard Labs, good enough for me. Asgard Labs.io. So as you see here, what we're going to do is we run this init command, which brings out a bunch of nice little what's the word for scaffolding to kind of put it all together. There's multiple plugins, as I alluded to earlier, with Helm and Go and Ansible, but obviously we're telling it to do that. And then we're giving the domain of asgardlabs.io. That's really important for later on with the CRDs. Domain is basically namespacing your CRDs so they don't mess with the upstream resources that the rest of the cluster uses. So normally you would put it in at whatever company or whatever project you're working on to do it. And as Paul so aptly put it, we are working for Asgard Labs, so we know there's not any resources that are created by Asgard Labs, so we know we won't step on anything. All right. So then, as it says here, oh my God, this is horrible. Give me a second. I don't know why Safari has decided to be really annoying today, so give me a second. All right, there we go. Now I can actually see what's going on. So now it says it even helps you figure out some things when you need to create an API. But let's take a look at what's actually inside the repo first. As you see here, it's already given us a Docker file. It's already given us a playbooks repo, directory. Even given us some roles, make file in the Docker and some other metadata. Let's take a look at that Docker file real quick. If you look at here, the Docker file is pretty straightforward. It pulls it from upstream Ansible operator. It copies in the requirements.txt or YAML for any of the upstream requirements you may have. Then installs anything off of your requirements.yaml. So if you have any like plugins that you pull up from Galaxy, which is really neat, then it pulls in the watches, the roles, and the playbooks. So if we actually take a quick look at the playbooks here, this is where the there's nothing there. Huh.
Yeah, if you look, it's got a step shortly hereafter is to create a role.
Oh, okay. I was expecting you to have some basic tasks already put in there.
Yeah. And so I actually just copied the role in for us just to make it easy, just straight from the doc.
Oh, got it. So you already this was not there. This was
not there. This is the next step. I was just pasting it in for you because it was kind of lengthy and I didn't want you to have to fight the set paste settings in Vim.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, so basically this is the as Paul said, the straightforward role here that we start Memcached D. There's a little bit of metadata here, which is important to know. This pulls it directly from Ansible because it's optional there. The replica size, so it allows us to spin up as many as we need, which is pretty neat. And then the container here actually just pulls in the Memcached D container, which I thought was kind of interesting now that I'm actually reading it, because what we're doing is we wrote a playbook to pull a container from upstream Docker Hub and run the container for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not really using Ansible to its advantage here. It's just like go grab the Nginx container and start you, right? Like it's not like installing anything. It's not configuring the Memcached D service. It's just like using that, which I guess is a pretty shitty example now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, I mean, they're probably going for the mean time to dopamine, right? So let's just make it work. Let's show you how to do an Ansible role or whatever from it.
Right.
And maybe it'll get more complex as we go through.
I don't know.
But what's interesting, if you look at the, oh, you already, oh yes, you haven't done the SDK init bits yet. Is that what you're just doing now?
Oh, no, I have. I've done the init bit. Now I'm actually building the API. I wanted to walk through the
Gotcha.
repo of all the skeletons already there, but you'd already put something in it, so it kind of threw off my plan.
Well, the only thing that I did was that roles memcached task. Everything else
Yep.
was
Yeah, no, I've done those. So we're creating the API now,
yeah.
and there we go.
So where is it getting? Like, what are those commands actually doing?
Okay, so the first one we did was to create the first bit of the scaffolding with the Ansible stuff and the name AskOurOps.io. The second one
Yep.
is when we actually create the actual API or the actual CRD, and we put it under the name of cache here. We give it a version of V1 Alpha 1 because it's obviously not production by any standard. And then we actually create the kind of the CRD of Memcache. And then we generate everything off of that through the generate role. So this is us
Right.
actually creating the YAML to be able to say that this is what we expect to have there.
Gotcha. So if we now go to, let me show you. Oh,
So if you look right here, this project right here is us actually determining among the files generated as a QBuilder project file, subsequent operator SDK commands, and help desk will run the project read of this file or aware of the project type is Ansible.
right. So it created that project for us,
Yes.
right?
And
Yeah.
then
And then when
right
you,
this,
oh,
go ahead.
I was going to say, when you ran the generate, which one?
Create API.
You ran the create API. That created, let me see, I think it's config.
Memcached custom resource submission is sample Memcached resource. So there should be a resource in there called Memcached.
Yeah, so I was going to show you the Memcached CRD.
Mm-hmm.
So it created this. Oh, well, that's it's customized bases. But it created this based off the project.
Mm-hmm.
So Memcached cache, Ashgar Labs, and so I assume there's a spot where we could have put variables or stuff we wanted to put in. Or maybe that's just free form. Because I noticed in the role. Uh-oh. What
So
happened there?
main.yaml and a main.yml. That's not good.
Classic. That's that thing where you have that argument over whether files should be .yml or .yaml. I was probably supposed to override the .yml.
No, it looks like it's .y. No, we want YML. We do not want the
Yeah,
YAML.
yeah, I did it with the A. So let me just fix that. All right, I'll just fix that real quick. Right, so we've got size here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's obviously a variable that's being set somewhere
Mm-hmm.
when we do the CRD call.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'll see where we set that as we go through. The other thing is clearly it's passing some extra variables through that are specific to the operator, and then it's using those.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be interesting. I would guess when the operator runs it, it passes like a dictionary called operator meta that has names and namespaces and stuff that you can use as variables in Ansible. Okay, so what is next?
I thought single apostrophes aren't interpolated. And then quotes are. right?
Yeah. That's a good question. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, because
Um,
it seems like a really weird oversight, right?
yeah. Huh. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, the other thing that I would call out as a not best practice in Excel fix right now is it didn't have spaces here.
Oh, in
I
this
just
in
added
this
them
thing,
in.
this thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
So just to be consistent, because it's got the spaces in the variables above, but then not here. But whatever. That's an aside. So next, it's telling us to create defaults. So we can go ahead and do vim roles memcached defaults main.yaml and do this, which will be
size 1.
size 1.
Mhm.
And then update the config samples cache.
Change foo bar to size :3.
Yeah. So this is, I guess, the example custom resource that will be hit against the custom resource definition.
And now just bring that back up real quick again. And just to reiterate
Okay.
for our viewers, as you see here, the API version is namespace with Ascar Labs, Alpha V1, V1, and the cache was the name from earlier too. Just to reiterate to make sure we're not stepping on anything else. There we go.
All right. So next we need to push the registry. So make file,
I feel
that should
like
define. It's not telling us how to do it.
all that
That's
means is,
interesting.
yeah, well, it tells us to change something in IMG. So bring up the make file real quick. Because if I remember correctly,
Oh, I see. These are environment variables. Okay, so we got the yeah. So it's got image tag base, right? And it's been smart enough to put it against your domain, assuming that your domain would also have a Docker Hub account that has that. But that's not what we're going for. But so, do you have a registry we can push this to?
yeah, we can just push it to actually come think of, hang on. Docker login quay.io. Docker, who am I? Whatever. Yeah, we got Quay. We can just use Quay.
Cool.
So what we can do here is just like what Marty did in his example. We export our username. We can just overwrite it this way if we want to. Right?
Yeah, I was just going to look for where it has.
Instead of forcing it. Yeah, there you go. That line.
I'm confused.
Show num real quick.
You can type.
Oh. So right here, line 39, they say that we can change it to image base tag name, which is right here, with the version, which is somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'm just confused why they're not, like, why that isn't just part of it.
Yeah.
and why they're not being more explicit versus just sending you a diff and assuming you know what it means.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like what Marty did here with just overriding on the command line. You see?
Yeah.
So we'll do it that way. But you're right.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Mhm.
I think that, does that mean we just set IMG
Mm-hmm.
and ignore the rest of the things?
I think I saw that in there too. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah. See, there we go. We just override it because
Yeah.
IMG isn't actually declared anywhere. Anyway, yeah. So.
Well, why don't we just actually hold on?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, never mind. What do you need a username for? Where was that?
That's right here. So I can change this to Quay and then change the name for the variable. So if I do username of awesome, I can do this right here.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about. The image is going to override that anyway.
I don't think so. Username, and then we'll call this.
Oh, I see what you're doing.
Memcached operator. V1.
Latest.
Yeah, right. So something like that, right?
Yeah. Though I kind of feel like we might as well just do this. Save fighting with it. Set it there.
Yeah. All right. Sure. All right.
But here's what we should do. Is before we even bother pushing it, we should be able to use make install run and test it without having to upload it or anything. So let's do make install run.
That looks
right?
better. Yeah.
And then if you want to take over, if you want to create a new window, because we want to leave this running, and then go ahead and do a
Make, install, or deploy.
do a kubectl apply -f and the example.
That is under. Where is the example? Sample memcached YAML.
Config samples.
Okay, apply -f config samples. Like so.
Yeah.
There we go. Things are happening. Errors.
Errors indeed. Executable file not found. Oh, aha. Classic. Because it's running it locally. It's not running it from the inside the image. And so it's expecting you that you have Ansible run it installed.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and actually break out of this. I thought we'd do the right thing and test it locally, but it seems like more effort than it's worth. So I guess the next is make docker-push. I think I only did a Docker build. Docker-push.
Okay.
And then we can do make deploy. Let's do k create ns operator.
No, I believe it actually. I believe it actually creates the Memcached operator system here. When you do the make deploy, it actually creates it for you.
Oh, well, there you go. Deploy.
Yep, there you go.
So k get crd grep cache.
Yay!
So there's our crd, and k get ns grep system.
There you go.
And there's our operator. So k get pods.
Dash in.
Dash n. Ver image pull.
Oh, it's because it's not public yet. It's not public yet. Hang on.
Oh, you need to mark it as public?
Yeah.
Amateur hour in the Quay account.
So true. So true.
Clickety click.
There you go.
All right. So
you want to just do make undeploy and then deploy again?
Yeah. It'll figure itself out. Right?
Maybe.
Oh, come on, Paul. Amateur hour. Memcached operator system. Deployments. Right. Here we go. It's up and running. So we can change to here real quick. Logs-f Memcached operators controller manager. C manager. Right. I'll let you take over again, JJ.
All right.
So it's running. I've just got it running a tail logs. So now you want to do that kubectl apply again.
Yep.
Maybe actually we'll do k create ns jj's cool sweep memcache ns jj's.
Yeah, we're not going to use OLM here because that makes it a little bit more confusing.
Yeah. So we should do k apply
config sample.
So what?
One more directory.
We'll get there eventually.
There we go. Things are happening. You even see the playbook run. There it is.
Yep. So that's run.
Oh wow, it's constantly running it over and over and over again. The reconcile loop, because it's making sure that it's always in the state you want it to be in, right?
Yeah. So I would imagine there's some retry it's got on like a cadence.
There we go. 3 pods running.
Look at this. But no services. So why don't we let's extend the Ansible and add a service.
Yes.
Vim roles name. Oh God.
Sure. Bang out of this. It's broken enough.
What?
No, okay. Is it 1
No,
1
it's all good.
2 1 1?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah.
Expose memcached community kubernetes.cates. Really? Why would you do that to me? Why has Vim gotten so bad at dealing with camel tabbing?
It's a great question.
Service version apps v1, and we can do this. How do we do a service again? We need like the selector, right? Just like this. Should be under spec. Ports.
By the way, I was wrong. It's not running a reconcile loop. It was just spinning up three different pods.
Radio. All right. What am I missing from the service definition here? I need to do ports, right? I don't remember. Is that
It's right here. Here's some ports. Protocol : TCP, target port, name port.
I think your font's really small. I can't read it. Protocol. Can folks on the stream read his screen, or is it just me? Port 11211.
Name.
Port 11211. I did the name and namespace. Did I get the selector stuff right?
I think so. App service.
Spec selector app. Yeah, that looks right. Okay. Well, I feel like this is what we need.
Okay. We got to build it again, right?
Yep. Make build. What was the Docker build? Docker push.
There we go.
And then if we do k memcached deployments, always. Now maybe we can do K. Oh, what is it? Is it rollout? Yeah, K rollout -n memcached deployment.
There you go.
Right. So we should do a logs.
Manager number would have changed, right?
Yeah.
Now, do we need to kick the? Oh,
It
there's the two
should
tasks. There we go.
It should rerun it.
Looks like it did. I saw two. Oh, one failed.
Yeah, I guess I got my service wrong. Oh, apps v1 service. Oh, dude. What a Nobinski. Just that. You were supposed to be double checking me.
I didn't even see. I completely missed that.
Roll out logs, and we can do this. Here's the new one.
Yay.
Running. Oh. Kind services is forbidden. Oh, what? What?
Wait, that's all right.
I bet you we have our back.
Oh, there's some. Oh, okay. That's annoying.
How did it create the CRDs and know it would only be able to update deployments?
I don't know.
It must mean those two commands in it. Ag installed, no. -r deployment. We don't care about the testing, so I guess let's check for manager. It's just that. Manager config patch. So S back to here. Okay, that holds. Okay, head SA.
So if you're wondering, if you just joined us, Paul is attempting to try to figure out some RBAC issues with us trying to create a service to expose the Memcached installation that we've done using the Operator SDK Ansible kind of tutorial. We got pretty far into it. We even got it up and running. But unfortunately, we didn't actually have it exposed, so we couldn't connect to it or actually look at it or anything. So we kind of went off the beaten path here after getting the CRD built, just because we're like that. We kind of want to try to figure it out. So that good catch up, Paul.
Yeah. Where did it create that cluster role? Auth proxy, role binding. Config, RBAC, customization. Oh, it's just here. Okay. So let me think. It's a service, which is, I think, just API group here. So do this, and that'll give it create delete.
Reapply it.
Okay, apply -f config. Role.
Okay.
Wait, I shouldn't have created it.
Oh, you're in the wrong namespace, maybe? Oh, wait, no, that's universal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe redeploy it. Do a make deploy. Maybe it's something we missed there. Unchanged. Oh.
There you go. The manager role changed. So if we do, now. Yeah, now it's got services in there. So we should do logs. Let's just roll out again.
Oh, you're using Stern. Still seeing forbidden up there at the top.
Yeah, I think that's the old one. Yep. Here it comes.
Nope.
We're still getting errors.
There it is. What does it say? Skipping callback. What? Why is AWX in there?
Respect selector. There's something wrong. There's something wrong with the selector. Read string. All right.
Oh, is there a typo in it?
Yeah. Yes, roles, tasks, name. All right. Where's the role? Open that
Yeah, hang on.
thing you had with the services up. Look at the service doc that you had up. Can you zoom that in? It's so small. Really? I don't think you need to quite zoom it in that much.
Well, selector app, service, web.
All right. So if you want
Right.
metadata, we've got that. Selector. Oh, I know what it is.
Match labels.
Yeah, doesn't need that. We'll get there eventually.
Eventually.
See, this is where it'd be useful if we just had Ansible installed here. We could be testing this locally rather than pushing every time. That's all right. Have any Ansible in here? No. Always if we want virtual and okay, never mind. The rollout, yeah, I did. So let's do it's done. Spec ports. So something's invalid in spec ports now. So let's take a second. How do we create a venv again? Like that.
Yep.
And then
Activate.
activate.
Oh no, it's a space dot space.
Oh yeah. Right. And then pip install.
There's a molecule in there too.
Oh, that's only if you want to. That's only because it's come from like a default skeleton that has a molecule directory now.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's any actual molecule stuff in there.
Thinking about it.
Slow. So
Right.
slow. Oh God. I swear Python has like just keeps getting more and more weird and complicated. Like we need to do a bunch of like Rust shit now to run Python. God damn it. All right, well, let's ignore that and pretend that we could do it. I guess we want to vim roles. All right, what have I got wrong with ports? Should they be quotes? Should they be what's going on? Bring that doc back up.
No, they're all numbers.
Okay. Oh no, I see what it is. One too many. What should have been under spec? Is it the same level as spec?
Yep.
We'll get there eventually.
Maybe. Okay. So it's rolled the operator.
Here we go. Okay, 2, changed 1.
Nice.
Okay, get service. And there it is.
Sweet.
Well, wait, never mind. We're looking in the wrong namespace. Okay, get service.
There we go.
That's the one we wanted.
Yay.
That's the right port. So yeah, that is the Ansible operator.
Yes. Okay, so let's take a quick look if we need to do anything else. You can up the size if you want to, but that's just changing the spec. That's not a big deal.
So where do you feel this would be the most useful?
Okay, well here, I'm gonna stop sharing the screen. We can kind of wrap this up too. So being that we now know how to have Ansible, call in a remote upstream resource or module to be able to install Kubernetes resources and primitives onto a Kubernetes cluster using an operator. In theory, what you could do is if you needed to use Ansible, because all we did was just add another task to that playbook, you could manipulate a much more complex app that you needed to be able to, so Kubernetes always ran your application, right? So if you had a 3-tier app or something like that, where you need to spin up, MySQL, that container, and then do some configuration, or MariaDB and do configuration, or Postgres or whatever. And then after all that's done, then you need to, install random application server with an Nginx in front of it. Then all you need to do is when you need a new version of it, you just apply a new CR to do that next instance of your app or whatever. One of the best conversations we have when we talk about this with Helm is that eventually, if you go through this this other example that we have, which is installing WordPress using Helm, in theory, you could have n number of WordPress instances completely isolated using this Helm operator. So you could, in theory, by using this Helm one example, become WordPress hosting hosting or host sell WordPress hosting. The Ansible operator allows you to actually go even deeper now. Instead of just slurping upstream Helm charts to do it, now you can actually manipulate and fiddle with the different options. So yes, it's much more valuable.
So here's where I think its value is, right? Mm-hmm. I actually don't see a ton of value in just summarizing like a deployment and a service and maybe a second deployment with MySQL. Mm-hmm. I think the value is where you might have a legacy-ish app that isn't super cloud native, and you might need to say spin up the database, and then you might need to run a bunch of like MySQL commands to create the database that you're going to use, inject the initial schema, and then spin up your application. And you'd get that in a timed ordered way. For instance, if you were to do that with just kube manifests, you would do a deployment for MySQL and a service for MySQL, and then you would do a job for MySQL that would maybe create the initial tables or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that job doesn't know to wait until MySQL is up, right? Mm-hmm. And so you would probably need to do like an init container for the job and do like a while not up, sleep.
Yep.
And kind of go in a weird loop like that. Whereas this lets you say, spin up my database. Mm-hmm. When my database is ready, run my MySQL steps. Mm-hmm. Then when that's ready, spin up my application. And so it gives you that ordered orchestration that you don't have in Kubernetes that sometimes you would like. And then I think the next step is it also gives you an easy mode way to control backing resources that may be outside of Kubernetes. Mm-hmm. Like instead of saying I need a MySQL deployment, I could say I need an RDS instance, right? And I don't need to wait for Amazon to have a RDS operator. I can simply write a couple of Ansible tasks to call that because Amazon has Ansible modules for dealing with RDS, right?
Yep.
And maybe that includes like creating the appropriate IAMs and STSs, and then collecting those and then injecting those as secrets, right? You'd be able to compose all of that with Ansible relatively easily versus trying to do it with kube manifests and like trying to fake your way through that orchestration with jobs within it, containers again and stuff. That's where I think the real value of it is.
Nice. Yeah, the potential is extremely. It's you need to sit down and map it out before you start. You got to do your homework beforehand. But if you do your homework, this can save significant issues down the line because you allow the operator to do the work for you.
Right. Now, and then of course, if you have existing Ansible to configure random things in the cloud, you could use that, and it means that I would just say, hey, kubectl, I want to do this thing, and it would go and configure those random things in the cloud. So it could be all totally outside of Kubernetes. It could be spinning up, Amazon, I don't know, what's those things called? Elastic Beanstalks, and running a bunch of Java apps, right? And you could have, if that's already Ansible calls, then you could wrap that inside of this. And that way you're calling it from Kubernetes. And that way you're sort of stepping towards it being kind of the one interface to rule them all, and that being Kubernetes.
Nice. Yeah. As you were talking, I was flipping through the website. I'm not sharing my screen right now. But there was a nice little section about testing with the molecule writing the tests to be able to actually verify the stuff locally. So that might be something worth looking into in the future. But I was
Yeah.
I was curious though about the monitoring and the metrics you can get out of bringing from the operator, and it's not obvious on where the documentation is for that, which I think is a little annoying. But be nice
Not
to
sure
know.
exactly what you mean.
Well, that whole phase thing, right? If you go back to the phase 4 or whatever.
Oh, so I think that is talking about like if you have Prometheus installed and you have the like Prometheus operator and you can do uh, the service queries and port queries or whatever they're called to
Okay.
automatically spin up Prometheus.
Hmm.
I think that's what it's talking about, being able to do that.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So it's not exactly what I thought it was. No big deal. Cool, man. All right. Well, I'm pretty happy with this.
Awesome.
Yeah. You want to say anything else?
Anything else?
Perfect. All right. Bye, Paul.
Bye.